What's up guys, this is RBG hitting you with more coverage on Marvel's Avengers, and as you've read by the title, we have some major stuff to go over. First off, I want to thank some of you guys for sending me this video because I don't think I would have found this by myself. And it's a video from an awesome YouTuber who goes by the name of LaaJun or LaaJun. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. But just like me, he's been holding it down with content covering Marvel's Avengers. And he recently uncovered some crazy information that I'm sure all of you will be excited about. So definitely check out his channel. The link will be in the description box. Now before we get started on the video, I gotta give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, TubeBuddy. As a successful YouTube user, I often get questions asking what I use to get my videos tons of views. And the answer to that is TubeBuddy. This thing has helped me take my channel to the next level in ways I never imagined. It's a browser extension that helps new and experienced YouTubers grow fast and optimize their channels. I've been using this extension for years and it's constantly getting updated with new features, like the SEO tool that helps me come up with the perfect title, description, and tags to get more people to click on my videos. It even provides you with analytics beside your videos to see how much traffic your video is generating from various social media sites. So if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel or taking your content to the next level, download the extension now. You can do so by clicking on this link that'll be provided in the description of this video. But anyways guys, we recently got more details on the Avengers members' skills and abilities during combat. What's interesting about this info is that it is literally coming straight from the horse's mouth. That's right, the actual lead combat designer Vince Napoli himself took to Reddit to answer questions regarding things like the functionalities of the character's abilities. He also provided an in-depth explanation of how the perks and skill tree will work, among many other things. This guy was one of the key players of why God of War's combat was so good. I remember him going on certain forums and talking about what went into making Kratos Leviathan axe work. And when I heard that he was being brought on as the combat designer for Marvel's Avengers, I knew that the game was in good hands. And based on the new details he's provided, it pretty much backs up my assumptions. Now what I find funny is that this info was released over a month ago, but it's just now being highlighted. Not sure if that's a good thing, but it would have really helped if Crystal Dynamics made this stuff public to help their case with the game's poor marketing. But I guess it is what it is. Anyways, Vincent answers one of the most asked questions, and that's regarding the free roam with flying characters. He goes on to say, and I quote, "You can absolutely fly all around like you'd expect. You can even use any of Iron Man's weapons while sprint flying, all of which have custom functionalities separate from when they're used either on the ground or hovering. We also have special flight attack maneuvers as part of his skill tree progression. If you wanted, you could play Iron Man as a pure dive bombing aerial support character and make strafing runs as your combat style." Now that sounds very interesting. Like when we got alleged leaks talking about this stuff, an anonymous Reddit user mentioned that Marvel's Avengers would be very similar to that of Kingdom Hearts, where the player gets to roam around in these different worlds, or in the case of the Avengers, different locations. Although Vincent doesn't confirm this, I really believe these rumors to be true. Like, I don't see Crystal giving us complete freedom to roam around in an expansive sandbox world. Considering the fact that we have a roster of diverse characters with different means of traversal, they'll more than likely create locations tailored to particular Avengers members. But then again, you could have levels that have certain locations that only a flying character like Iron Man can reach, or certain obstacles that can only be bypassed if Hulk smashes them. You know, stuff that you see in the Ultimate Alliance games. But regarding Iron Man's flying abilities, when Vincent mentioned that his flying capabilities will have fully customizable functionality separate from his crown combat, I think that the attacks will have different animations. Like, we know that the pulsar blasts are going to be functional in the air and on the ground, but we probably didn't expect other weapons in Iron Man's arsenal to be like this. Judging from their recent game over review trailer we got a few months back, the aerial and melee attacks are all going to boil down to weapons you choose to equip. If you noticed during the brief display of the skill tree we got, it showed Iron Man performing laser moves from the ground in the form of sweep attacks. And when you have that same weapon equipped, Iron Man can perform an uppercut called a laser sight, where he essentially knocks an enemy in the air before slamming them down. Stuff like that is going to add a lot of variety to the gameplay because you aren't just being limited to one special move, they all function from light and heavy attacks. So I can only imagine the crazy combos I'm going to pull off after I properly perform certain button input patterns. And this is just when Iron Man is hovering or standing on the ground. We haven't even seen what he can do when he's actually sprint flying through the air. Judging from the showcasing of this particular ultimate missile attack, you'll most likely be able to wield the ability to unleash rockets on your enemies as you fly by them. But moving on, Vincent goes on to explain how the skill tree works. He states, and I quote, "There are skill types which will allow you to choose between 3 different functions of the skill at any time. A good percentage of these skills are these choose 3 options, especially where the heroic abilities are concerned. Also, there are more than just combo string additions, from traversal to sprint attacks to alternate weapons to counters and other special attacks, all based off the hero and all different. So this basically backs up what I was talking about earlier, where the special abilities aren't just going to be limited to ground and hover attacks. There are going to be different variations of the special abilities while you sprint or fly. What I think he means by the choose 3 option is that you'll have a total of 3 super moves at your disposal, because during the A-Day demo you see these 3 icons located at the bottom right corner of the hub, and in the overview trailer you see 3 different categories of heroic abilities in the form of support, assault, and ultimate. Vincent goes on to say that the recharge rate and other small statistical upgrades like damage, area of effect, and impact, etc. can all be tweaked via gear, as well as some of the skill tree options. But the choose 3 skills he's talking about for heroics are more significant than that. And the intent is that the functionality of the entire heroic ability can be modified in such a way as to provide totally different gameplay effects rather than just boosting or tweaking the existing effects. Oftentimes that means the entire animation changes and the amount of charges / uses can go from 3 quick activations to 1 lengthy activation, etc. The tweaks are significant enough that they often require all new effects in presentation because the modification is comprehensive. So yeah, the gear is going to play a pivotal part in this game. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around why Crystal Dynamics didn't go into details on these features, because they specifically showed the menus in the overview trailer. This is literally going to be one of the selling points that's going to get people hyped to play this game. Like, all of these features look like they're going to be very intuitive. The level up system is going to be very deep, and depending on how many of these gears they give us, we can have a large arsenal of abilities at our disposal. Something that Vincent mentions about the skill tree we got in the overview trailer is that it's not even a fraction of what the finished product will have. According to him, it was unfinished and the real skill tree have quite a bit of depth. Given the fact that this game was pushed back a good 4 months, I'm most certain that the developers will go into an overhaul on the abilities that you'll have. But moving on from Iron Man's moves, we got more details on other Avengers members like the Hulk. If you're a fan of this particular character, then you know that the developers absolutely have to nail his gameplay. Things like his movements and traversal are some of the aspects we wondered about. Because if we're going to be honest, he can pretty much jump to any area in the comics. We got somewhat of an idea on how he'd get around in the A-Day trailer, but since that was a tutorial demo, Hulk was somewhat restricted. Fans wondered if this Hulk's traversal mechanics was simply automated or momentum based, especially how he would jump around. Vincent states, and I quote, "Hulk can stay dug into a wall that he's clinging onto, effectively perching on the wall. Your options from perching are 1. Jump up to or either over something, or if it's a huge building, latch onto something on another section. It's how you can scale infinitely large structures. 2. Jump left or right for a similar purpose. 3. Pivot left or right by using the analog stick." So he doesn't wall run in the more traditional sense like Captain America can. Now, this particular part of the information is as I assumed. The Hulk is going to play a lot like a more simplified and realistic version of the one we played in Hulk Ultimate Destruction. If you remember, that game had a lot of insane things you can do. One of them being the ability to run on walls and the sides of buildings. I really wanted them to include the wall running, but I wasn't sure how well that would translate to a game like this, and it looks like Crystal Dynamics was thinking the same thing, so they're choosing to tone it down. Judging by the Hulk's gameplay, he's going to move very similar to his MCU counterpart, where he gets around in a primal-like nature. Think of that one particular scene from the Avengers where he crawls on the wall to destroy the Chitauri. Something that really caught my interest was when Vincent briefly alludes to the way Cap's traversal mechanics will work, like when he says that the Hulk can't run on walls in a traditional sense like Captain America can. I'm not gonna lie, I had a nagging suspicion that Cap will be able to run on the walls, because he's a master of parkour and acrobatics. If you've ever played this game Captain America Super Soldier, you can see that the devs of that title really highlighted how parkour could translate well into gameplay. And I truly believe that the devs for Marvel's Avengers will draw heavy inspirations from that, because the shield gameplay in the A-Day mission screams Captain America Super Soldier. If I were them, I would lift all the elements from that game and fine-tune them for their version of Captain America, because they have more than enough time on their hands. But anyways, the last thing Vincent harped on is the recharge and reload times. Since the Avengers members seem to like they have an unlimited supply of ammo at their disposal, the fans wondered how characters like Iron Man and Black Widow would reload their weapons. And Vincent stated that by default, Black Widow will auto-reload when you reach the end of the clip like we saw in the A-Day footage. But there's also certain actions that will auto-reload as a mechanism to allow optimal range combat play, like perfect evading and attack, instant reloads, both guns, etc. And that's pretty cool. Like, everything that Vincent laid out made me even more hyped for this game. Simply laying out all these specific details to the general public could have eased the burn to the negative backlash Crystal Dynamics has been getting with this game. I just don't understand why we couldn't get brief breakdowns for each Avengers members to explain how they function, but hopefully this video has somewhat helped those that were curious about those specific details. Anyways, let me know what you think. Do you think that Vince's explanations helped the game, or are you still uninterested? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, I ask that you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. Any feedback is good feedback and will only help me improve on my future videos. But if you really enjoyed the video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it with all your friends and followers on social media. Sharing really makes a difference. But once again, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.